Let's list out the big questions at the very outset on this contentious issue. Two-child policy through legislation. Is it an idea whose time has come? Is the population policy in states like Uttar Pradesh and Assam being used as a political weapon? Is there a bid to communalize the UP polls by using such legislation and creating, some say, the myth of Muslim expanding population growth? Joining me now, Aparajita Sarangi, BJP MP, Ashutosh Verma, Samajwadi Party spokesperson, Poonam Muthreja, Executive Director at Population Foundation of India, and S.Y. Quraishi, former Chief Election Commissioner, who's just written recently a book, The Population Myth, Islam, Family Planning and Politics in India. Therefore, let me come to you before I come to the politicians in a moment, Dr. Quraishi. You seem to suggest in your book that this entire issue that Muslims are responsible for higher population is a bit of a myth. Do you want to specify and underline your basic thesis, which you claim is based on data? What is your primary data that tells you that those politicians who suggest that only a particular community is growing beyond the national average are wrong?
Yes, I've tried to break not one or two myths, but several myths, mainly five. First is that Muslims are responsible for population explosion. The answer is that, yes, Muslims have the highest birth rate, no doubt. But the second highest birth rate is of the Hindus, which is what we all forget. Now, and there is hardly the great gap between Hindus and Muslims. For instance, Muslim acceptance of family planning is 45%, Hindus is 54%, whereas Sikhs are 80%. Now, with 80%, recently Prime Minister from the Red Fort said that less children need more patriotism. That means the most patriotic people are the Sikhs. But at the drop of a hat, we call them Khalistani. So now, if Muslims are the least patriotic because they have the least family planning, the second least is the Hindus with only 54%. So, in fact, the impression created is in public mind, and I had the same myth in my mind, by the way, that if a Hindu family has 2 children, Muslim family will have 10 children or 8 children. But let me tell you, and I've shown it from Government of India data, at no point in time, the gap was more than one child, 1.1 to be precise, and which has now come down to 0.48 because Muslims are catching up family planning faster than the Hindus. Therefore, Muslims being solely responsible for population explosion is wrong. Secondly, whether it is disturbing the population balance. Yes, there has been 3-4% increase of Muslim population in 60 years. And to say that, they're just coming to a majority, they will capture power, it will, at the current rate, it will take 600 years. I got Professor Dinesh Singh, a former Vice Chancellor of Delhi University, to make a great mathematician, to make a mathematical model for me. How soon will the Muslims overtake? He says, forget about it, not in 1,000 years. So this is a myth because the gap was only 1% and which is also going
You're
down.
saying, let me for our viewers, sir, you're saying that the gap between Hindus and Muslims in terms of population rate was around 1% and even that is shrinking. You're saying that families, you're saying that the gap is shrinking between the two. Am I correct?
Yes, but not 1%, one child. One child. If Hindus have 2 children, Muslims have 2.5 children. That is the entire gap now. And at the peak, it was 2. If Hindus had 2, Muslims had 3. If Hindus had 5, Muslims had 6. The gap was only one child. So this gap has been exaggerated that every Muslim has, hum 5 hamare 25, hum 4 hamare 40. In fact, out of 138 crore people, let some people show me one family which answers the description, hum 5 hamare 25, one family in the entire country. So this is the lie which has been spread deliberately to create fear among the Hindus that Muslims are going to overtake. And which is why this bill becomes a suspect because of the timing.
Right.